Hey, this is the Random Real Review, and we're going to go over Apocalypse Z. This is a new zombie movie that was released on Amazon Prime October 31st. It is a movie off the book from Manel Lorio, and I just want to go over this movie real quick. I thought it was pretty good, but let's talk about it. All right, so the best time to review these movies is right after you watch them. So I'm just going to start spitting them off about how I remember this movie and what I liked about it and what I didn't. The first thing is this movie is a Spanish release movie or from Spain, and it is like, kind of dubbed over for English. And you can see that it doesn't quite match up, but for me, that kind of makes it have a different feel to it. And I liked watching knowing that it was from not a U.S. Made movie. It was a Spain zombie movie. So I thought that was kind of cool, and it made me want to watch it a little bit more. Um, One thing about this, this guy is very naive, and he doesn't seem very put together. And of course, his wife died, and so he's all sad, this and that. But I don't think he would have survived. All this stuff starts happening around him, and he talks to his family member on the phone. This is a continuing theme in the movie, is that he's always like trying to talk on the phone to his sister or something. And you know they say, hey, this is all happening, the disease is coming, you need to leave and join up with the army. And if you know anything about zombie movies, anytime you go where there's a ton of people, the zombies break out and they fuck everybody up, and all the safe zones turn into the worst zones, right? So this is a continuing theme in zombie movies. Do not go to where it's heavily populated, or else you're gonna get eaten. But he talks to his family member, and he says, "Hey, they want us to go there," and he says, or she says, I have somebody in the military, and they're saying, "Do not go." And so he makes a smart move, and he stays. Him and his cat, and well, I guess that's what helps him out here. He ends up staying, and he has like an apartment, and it's all set up to survive. He's kind of been living on his own, and he has food, and he just chills out for a while. And finally, he starts running low on food, and so he has to go and venture out, and he's going through houses, and he finds food here and there, and he does find a lady who's in a wheelchair, which is quite weird to me, that this lady would even survive, because he just like stumbles into her house, and she's just like chilling there, and her door's like wide open, and she's like, "I have no food." I'm pretty sure that a lady chilling in a wheelchair with her door wide open is gonna get just smashed on. That they're freaking gonna eat her real quick. But anyways, he finds this lady, and they become friends, and this lady's been watching everybody through the windows, and she knows where all the houses are that could possibly have some food. So, he goes and gets food, this and that, and they hang out. He drinks and gets drunk and everything. But he tells her that, or she hears like a radio reception, and tells him, "Hey, listen to this." And they're saying, "Go to the estuary," which is like the water. And so he says, "Tomorrow we'll go." And she's like, I'm gonna slow you down." And he's like, "Ah, you'll be fine." So he ends up going to sleep. He wakes up in the morning. He can't get a hold of that lady. Well, she offs herself, and he goes to the estuary. But to get to the estuary, he has to like, he's got this dirt bike that he found in one of the houses, and he's got to ride this dirt bike through. Which right away I'm like, all right, he's doing pretty good. He catches up to this like spot where the army was, and once he crosses that line, it's like, boom, there's zombie freaking dudes everywhere. And this guy's only had like one run in with a zombie the whole freaking movie. So I'm like, there's no way this dude's gonna freaking be able to take on some zombies. And as he's going through the forest, all these zombies are like just popping out. I'm like, dude, this guy's gonna get run into a freaking zombie on his dirt bike, and he's going to fall down. They're gonna eat the shit out of him. Well, at one point he's driving around and he gets to a spot where it's like this encampment and there's still like fire burning, but yet there's no actual, regular people alive there. And just like a storm of zombies chased after him, and he's like zooming around and he falls down off his bike because he crashes into a big old lump of like dead bodies. And he takes off running with this cat and he just runs and runs and runs. And he's running with this cat, and I'm like thinking he's gonna not make it, because how fast can you run with the cat box? But this dude just chucks it, or keeps freaking jamming on, and he gets to the estuary, and he just barely escapes these freaking zombies. He sees a boat way out there and he swims to it, and he gets in there because he thinks his boat's gonna be there, but like all the boats are gone. But he sees one like out in the water, so he gets in there and he hears something downstairs, and it's a freaking baby, and it's like a zombie baby now. Can't get that one to start. Jumps on his little boat. He meets up with these Russian sailors. Blah blah. These Russian sailors are like, every time that the zombies take over the world, anybody that's a bad person says, "This is my time. I'm gonna rule the world." And this is pretty much what these Russians are doing. They're like, "I'm gonna be the main man now." So him and this guy he met, this Ukrainian, that knows how to fly helicopters, they leave, and then his buddy gets shot, and he's like, "Oh, we'll go to the hospital. There's a helicopter there. We're gonna go to the Canary Islands. That's where his family members say they are, and so he's gonna make it to the Canary Islands. He just wants to go there and meet his family." So he makes it to the hospital, and his buddy gets shot, and so they're like, "We're gonna work on you." Takes him down there. Of course, a hospital is like sick people, right? So every hospital is gonna be full of freaking zombies, and he makes it through this hospital without really running into any zombies, which is kind of amazing to me. And finally, he starts like wandering around because he hears like kids' voices, and then he starts running into zombies, And the zombies are always like those dummy ones, that don't really notice you till like you knock something over, or I guess they're zombies. They have no brains, right? But he does fight a couple zombies here and there, and these people open up a door, and he runs and they save him. And the thing about that is, the Russians come because he told them about the helicopter, and they find his car, and they're like, they break in, and he's like, "Oh man, they're gonna come and kill us." And so there's two ladies in there and three kids, his buddy and him, and the helicopter's outside, and there's a ton of zombies. So this guy, they make a plan. They're gonna go down there and get to the helicopter. They're like, "Yeah, well, the only way down there is through the boiler room." And they're like, "There was an explosion the other night in the boiler room." So they get down there, and like it's super hot down there, and they can't get this door open. So like they're prying on it. They're like, "Oh, it's all messed up because it swelled up." Well, the second they bust that door open, a freaking zombie comes out and just mows down one of the ladies he's with. And I'm like, "Dude, you got to be ready to know that the second the door opens, there's something on the other side." But yeah, this zombie comes and mows him down. And I thought that was jacked up. You just got to be ready. You can't just bust the door open and say, "All right, let's go." There's always something going to happen, right? When you open a door. But they get through this door, and the Russians are starting to blast people. The Russians have guns, so they're just blasting all the zombies. So they see that from their position to where the helicopter is, I don't know, it's like 100 yards or whatever. let's say that's how far it is, 200 yards. And like, there's a shit ton of zombies out there. How are we gonna get there? So they have all these like, I don't know, linen carts or something. They're like metal ones. They make like a big circle of them, and they get inside, and they got like a few weapons. There's only 3 adults and 3 kids. The second they go out there, they're like creeping around because they're dummy zombies, and they're like going and going. The zombies aren't noticing them. They getting like halfway there, and they like run something over, and then the zombies freak out and attack them. But like during the movie, these zombies are like so badass that like they're taking down helicopters, and they're like climbing on each other and like getting all over these crazy places. But when it comes to getting to them, they can't climb like 6 feet and go over the top and just mow them down, which is just crazy to me. I know they have like an axe and freaking a fire extinguisher, but I'm thinking there is no way that that little linen thing is gonna save you. But they managed to get over there, and you know they get to the helicopter, and his buddy gets in there. But then the Russians show up, and they're like, "We want the helicopter." So they come in there, and they start causing all this havoc, and they're like, "Get out of the helicopter." Well, the main character here, what is his name? I can't even think of his name right now. Uh, Manel. The main character is Manel. He he like busts open this gate and lets all the zombies in. Well, they wipe out the Russians because the Russians weren't expecting it, and they take off in the helicopter, and all of a sudden his phone works, and it's a call from his family member, and they're like, "Oh, I can't believe I got a hold of you." And he's like, "Yeah, I know, I'm making it. I'm coming to the Canary Islands right now." And the lady's like, "Don't come to the Canary Islands. Don't come." And then you hear like something about like the military's like, "We have an unidentified flying airplane." And the movie ends. So they left room for there to be a number 2. I like the movie. I mean, it's a zombie movie. It's from a French, or no, Spain released one. Um, One thing is like every time this guy fights with a zombie, he's got like a freaking spear gun, and he always hits him first shot. So this random dude, I mean, he's a guy that I guess he had a boat, so he knows how to use a spear gun. But he always gets the zombie with the first shot. And at the end, I mean, he's fought a few zombies, but he usually runs from them. At the end, he turns into like freaking the Hulk and just starts like smashing a bajillion zombies with his axe, which is awesome. He's a badass, but he's only shown that he's good at taking out a zombie here and there if he actually has a interaction with them. But at the end, he's like super badass and he can just kill all these zombies. So that part was a little bit off. You know, I guess you gotta turn badass after a while, but I would say it was a good movie and I would recommend watching it. This was my first review on this channel. I'm going to try to be doing some reviews here and there. And yeah, this one was Apocalypse Z, and there you go.